You're all set.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the work session. One of the first work sessions of the Weare Board of Selectmen. We were going to start at 6:30 to have an interview, but the interview canceled. So that brings us to approximately 6:37, and we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, that's his work session. We're going to shake up the order a little bit. We're going to do the manifest next. I'm going to order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payables checks dated March 16th, 2023, as including the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $69,292.46 for weekly payroll, and accounts payable manifest of $192,156.38 for a total of $261,448.84. Is there a second?
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
That way there, I don't forget it either. All right. Again, we're gonna shake up the agenda a little bit because we have some people here for the Bolton Field lights. Go ahead, either one, just speak at the,
So we emailed you
Yep.
the proposal, but I figured I would bring hard copies if that's okay.
it's fine with me. Thank you. Sure.
Yeah,
Put it in
she'll
the
be
file.
here. I told her 7, but.
Okay, fine.
You want me to stand over there?
Yes,
Yes, please.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, so. My name's Jennifer Ramsey. I'm the president. Here with me is Justin. He's the vice president for the Weare Junior Generals Football Association. So we put this proposal together with the Weare Athletic Club. Mike Preventure, he couldn't be here today. So what we'd like to do is install lighting as described on a couple of the enclosures on the field house, on the football field shed at Bolton Memorial Park. Again, it's together with the Weare Athletic Club, so that way like lacrosse can use it when they use it in the spring. We'd like to install 6 LED lights on the shed and direct them obviously onto the field. Information with regard to like the watt usage and things like that are on enclosure 2. So this is a picture, the back page. I double-sided them, if that's okay. Of the actual lights that we'll be using, so it has all the watt usage there. We have been working with Brian Ash. He's the owner of Ash Communications Security Electrical Services to contract this work. And obviously pending approval here and a building permit, we'd like him to be the contractor that does this. He, together with Weare Athletic Club, the Football Association will be paying for his time and his services and the installation, as well as any future maintenance of the lights. As stated in the proposal, our current light situation is not great, and given the daylight savings potential change, maybe it's a change, I don't even know, I think it changes all the time. We use 3 large diesel lights, so the ones you might see on like a roadside. We do pay a lot of maintenance fees on those things. They're pretty old. I don't even, they're probably 20 years old.
I know the year before last, we spent a chunk of the early season just trying to get them to run.
Right,
Parts are getting harder to find, and we're spending more money on gas than these are gonna cost us in a year, cost the town in a year to run electricity.
right. So very expensive.
I gotta imagine neighbors hate the sound of them running every night.
And they're very loud, so when the boys and girls are on the field, it's really hard to hear the coaches. So we'd like to switch them out for some LED lights. So we put the expected power usage, and I did a little math at the bottom of the first page just to give you an idea of how many days a week, how many hours, how many weeks, and that's a combination of, football and lacrosse, how many hours we think we'll use in 1 year, and we're estimating about $76 a year for electricity to run these lights. I will say, I think we spent $1,000 in gas alone last year.
Oh, I'm
So,
sure.
yeah, it's a lot. And then I think we're the only ones that use them. I don't think that lacrosse uses the
Lacrosse has no
lights.
access to lights, so this would give lacrosse lights, it would give us
Right.
lights, and, perhaps in the future, other organizations have potential to use.
Right.
And to be clear, the lighting's going on the building that, our building, out of the way of the town.
Right. So, again, we're just looking for approval to install these 6 LED lights. We did a a mock run with the electrician to see what the projection would be on the field, and it looked pretty good with the 6 lights. And again, we plan to pay for the installation and the maintenance of those lights between the Weare Athletic Club and the Football Association. So that's essentially our proposal. If you look on the enclosure 1, which is the 3rd page, it's a little drawing of where the lights are going to go. So they'll be, up on the, if you're looking at the shed, kind of where it'll be. It'll be facing the field, obviously. And then again, the back page is all the watt usage information. Any questions?
You just have to pull a permit.
Correct. Yeah, Brian, once we get your approval, Brian will pull the permit.
We wanna circumvent the process and pull the permit, and you all
Right.
think that we were circumventing you by pulling
Right.
the permit.
Right, because technically it's a town building, regardless of how it shakes out, it's on town property, it's a town building, so,
On,
Yeah, okay, fair
So-
enough. It's on town property.
on
Right.
town property.
Yeah.
right.
Not
It was
necessarily-
given to the town, so
Right, it's a town building.
It's a town building,
You guys
Yeah.
use it,
Yeah.
but it's a town building.
it's still a town building, right, at the end of the day,
That's good information, we were not under the impression it was a town, we were under the impression it was built with our funds.
which may have been correct, but at the end of the day, it was still,
And then at the end of the construction, because I was part of it at the time,
it was given to
we
the
had
town.
a donation to the town, we had to.
Yeah.
So it's under our umbrella, it's donated to the town,
Right,
and it's part of the town's buildings.
Sure. So not to sidetrack this a little bit, but I would love to get that information into our paperwork, because we're a whole new board this year, so we only heard, like,
the rumor mill
The
and
rumor
maybe
mill
this, that, and
and-
the other thing, right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Next board doesn't walk in here.
and do the same thing.
And that's
right.
fine, yeah,
Yeah,
and we-
I'd love
yeah,
to have all
yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
Our building on your property, not that it matters, but I
Right.
wonder if anybody else has that wrong impression again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because permission was granted to even get the building permit. because
I
it
would,
was on our
yeah, I would figure that would be the case, so.
Right.
But yeah, at some point, we'll get that information into our paperwork, and that way we don't have any confusion down the road.
You'd have to carry your own insurance and everything else. You do,
They do.
Yeah, they did.
but it doesn't fall under our umbrella?
No, the building per se, if there was a
Yeah.
damage to the building.
It would
or
fall under us.
vandalism, but they carry their own through the association.
Through the association,
They carry like renter's insurance, basically.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay,
Additionally insured type
for
thing.
what's in there,
Right.
okay, got it,
Football gear and also the liability of running a high-risk youth sports,
right,
Right.
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 so yeah, we carry insurance.
And who do you say you're using for electrician again?
Brian Ash?
And he's already evaluated the inbound power from the source, just to make sure it's,
It's actually
Capable.
fairly minimal usage, we're looking
Right.
at 6 75-watt usage bulbs.
okay, all right.
I mean, their equivalent usage is profoundly more than that because they're.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I just want, yeah, I just see a lot of lights up there. I know they're LED and I know they don't pull squat, but I just wanna make sure we're not running some, Homer gauge wire over there to
Right.
power the building in general, and now we're gonna put these on top of it and
We do have
So-
issues when we run the concessions about what we can run on certain
circuits.
circuit breakers. So I ran concessions last year, and I was constantly like running around plugging things in different places, so yeah,
I think that speaks to your question.
That speaks to my question, exactly, yeah, so.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
so,
right.
We may want to have a, have them check. that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
let
have
them
them
check the
double
inbound
check
power
before we
amount,
do
too.
anything.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
obviously if you guys put the lights on, you ain't gonna turn the coffee pot on anymore, so.
I
Right,
think that's more a problem of which appliances are on which breaker.
Yes.
But the total amperage to the main breaker. That's
right,
it.
and typically we
you know what
don't,
That's
size-
more my
do you
question.
know what
Yeah.
size-
I think that
Yeah,
your
do you know what
question,
size
if we're
pan,
good on that, I think her problem is that we are running things like heat lamps.
Too many things on one
Right.
circuit.
Yeah, I think that's the
Okay.
issue, which is different than that.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
you wouldn't have to know what size panel is in the actual panel.
Yes, I have looked at it 1,000 times, I'm pretty sure it's 100 amp.
yeah, I think it is.
Oh, yeah, if it's 100 amp, we should be fine then.
100 amp is part of the problem, some of the items on it are high usage,
Right.
heat lamp,
Heat lamp,
Microwave.
yeah,
crock pot.
Yeah,
cookers, yeah.
coffee
exactly.
maker,
Mhm, yeah.
all plugged into this outlet, and that outlet over there.
Yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense, okay, all right.
Got it.
Anything from Park?
The only thing that I would have would be, you say you're gonna do the maintenance, and obviously you say you're a new board, so we would probably want something in writing of, hey, here's what we're going to agree to do for maintenance on either a yearly basis or whatever. So we've got it, so when you guys swap out, that the next board goes,
Any
oh, we
future
didn't agree to that, we go,
Sure,
yeah, you did.
I
I
mean, the
can-
expectation of the maintenance on a light fixture should be changing light bulbs.
Right.
But if there's more than that, we'll certainly.
Yeah. Did-
Want something,
Yeah, they gave you a copy of this, right?
yeah, I got
Yeah,
that.
and you're on the, and you are listed where Parks and Recreation,
Top.
Yeah,
and then paragraph
2.
2, I think covers what you're asking, so it could be
Yeah, it says the
filed.
last sentence, both WAC and Junior Generals will pay for these services, installation, any future maintenance of these lights.
Is that what you're looking for?
yeah, I mean, I just didn't know if you wanted to get more nitty gritty on that, would be something that you guys would have to say, hey,
Right.
what do you mean by maintenance, you know?
I mean, we
Right.
cover all the costs inside the shed right now, so the refrigerators, the freezers, the warmers that he was talking about, the microwaves. We replace all those when they break. We lost a bunch last year and replaced all those, so I wouldn't expect the town to pay for anything.
Hasn't been an issue prior. won't
Right.
be an issue going
Yep,
forward.
but if you feel that we need something other than what paragraph 2 says, I'm happy to put something together, but I think it covers it.
Yeah, I think on the backside too, it also says that, right in the first paragraph, which, Bolton Memorial Field, of which installation, service, and maintenance of the such lights will be completely paid for by WAC or the
Yep.
junior, so. All right, I don't have a problem with it. What's the rest of the board feel?
I don't.
Okay.
No, provided that we've already had lighting there, so there's no abutter issues with,
Plus it's pointing at the field too.
yeah.
Right, and there's-
Point
Yeah, I
of
mean, I know the location and,
I was worried about that point, and we're in a good spot in that way in two ways. One, we've been doing it for years, and there haven't been concerns to date, and if they were gonna be concerned, I think they'd be more about the noise than the
Yeah.
light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a really interesting location from the road's point of view, we're below the road.
Right,
So we couldn't light it up if we tried unless we, up in the air.
right,
And the abutters are actually below us.
yeah,
So no matter how you look at it, we're in a great spot to not bother anybody.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had a woman speak to lighting issues the other night.
right.
you
At
know,
the,
All
at
of
the
a sudden
candidates thing.
surprise, They live in a rural place and boom, all of a sudden the bedroom's lit up, right? And they're trying to go to
Right.
bed, right?
I appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah, I can-
We live in a rural area, yeah.
I can,
Geographically, couldn't be in a better spot to not have.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, good.
And
So
there's
it's-
no plans for night games, correct?
As far as I know, no, because I don't think that these lights, the way that we have them proposed to you today, are enough to light the field where you could properly
Entirely.
play a game. It's good for practice, and it'll cover what we need for practice, but to run a game, no. Yeah,
Because I would just be concerned if you're gonna try to do night games, that, there's not enough lighting in the parking lots.
No.
fair
things
enough.
like that,
That's fair.
you're,
No,
I'm
you
more
can
worried
do-
about the, people trying to walk up to that upper parking lot with.
Tripping,
Sure.
falling down, yeah.
Sure.
Falling and hurting.
We're nowhere near where we need to be to do that. I wish we were,
Yeah.
I wish things were great like that, but the parking lot, the field, the concession area, the spectator spots, there's nowhere enough lighting for any of those things
Right.
to be to that place. This barely honestly gets us enough to do a
To
good
do
practice.
practice,
There's
yeah.
still gonna be dark spots, but it's profoundly better than.
Be proud of it, yeah.
Now, I reserve my right to come back here at some point and add more lighting.
Since you put the idea
I don't
up.
have hands.
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
All set, Dave? Okay. All right. I'm gonna move that we allow the John Stark Generals Football Association and WAC to install 6 LED lights on the shed at Bolton Field as described in this packet we were provided by them, with the understanding that it will be done by building code and inspected by the town of Weare upon installation and completion. Is there a
Okay.
second?
Second,
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
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 Great,
Thank you.
Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
Nope, not a problem.
And
Appreciate
the
it.
way you communicated via the email,
Yep,
that was perfect.
That was perfect, yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
gets us prepped.
Yeah,
A lot of times we get
We were
blindsided.
doing a bunch of emails, and I think back and forth with Parks and Rec, and then I said, you know what, Justin, I'm just gonna put a nice proposal together, one
Yeah.
packet, hopefully answer all the questions, and I'm glad that it did.
Sorry if we pushed too hard, we just wanted to make
No,
sure
no.
it up in time for the
No, I
crowd.
appreciate
You
that.
guys were
Yeah.
busy and-
no.
Yeah,
And
no.
and sometimes,
Sort of
yeah,
on vacation and, oh, man.
yeah.
I don't wanna give you guys a hard time. I didn't-
No,
No, we understand. We'll
Okay.
accommodate you when we actually can accommodate, but just having it before you arrive here is critical for
critical.
us being able to expedite things.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
Yeah,
well,
we're
thank you.
not, we don't bite, trust me. No.
Thank you, guys.
So,
This is great. Well,
thanks for coming.
Ross will be happy to, as I said, they start practices as soon as the field is ready.
Right.
Thursday, they start practice.
I'm probably gonna get in there.
Can I add one before you go too far?
thank you, appreciate it.
I have a note from Beth that, we did find a place that will do hazardous waste day through NRA.
Oh, okay, yep,
Yes.
She said the board needs to approve household hazardous waste for August 26, 23, from 8 AM to noon.
so moved.
So
Is there a
moved.
second?
Yes.
Moved and seconded,
All in favor, aye.
yes.
That's perfect too.
Yeah, August would be good,
Summer's good.
yep,
Yep.
yeah, everybody's out moving around.
You just need to know it's gonna be 9,100 to 9,600.
Yeah.
It's a little bit over, but.
Yeah, 'cause we have, what, 7 in the
We
line?
didn't do it last year. Oh, we did it last year for a short period of time?
No, we didn't do it at all.
We missed the list.
But we have 7 in the line, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so you're gonna have to come up with.
We'll
a little bit,
overspend it.
But I think that,
It's fine.
you know, we've,
We'll be fine.
Yeah,
we'll-
yeah, we will be. And we've
For-
skipped
for-
a couple
For
years.
the purpose, we'll be fine.
Yeah,
Absolutely, we need to, because the
Yeah.
alternative's not.
good. No, there's a reason we do that, right?
Right,
So
absolutely.
I just didn't forget that sticker.
So we don't find it on the side of the road, yeah.
Now we can
That's
continue.
good news, because that's also contrary to what we thought. Right.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right.
So we
Alright.
wanna take
We're
the,
moving right along here. You wanna do the bath renovations next?
Sure, we can do that.
Stay on that kind of thinking.
so what I did is I took, I took the same format that we used for the chimney ones. The only thing I didn't do is, as Kevin said, underneath the total price, on the second page, I think we need to note,
So let me, before we get carried away, what is this one?
so that was the original RFP.
Okay,
To show you that we met, on the second, and bids were gonna be due
the 20th, or the
by the
30th.
16th.
Yep,
And then we ran into the whole thing of not having enough money.
right, okay, yep.
So then we
So this
kicked
got
it off, so
transcribed
we
to
had
this.
said March 30th,
Mm-hmm,
but because we're about 2.5 weeks late, I bumped it to April 21st, because we're not gonna notify them until Wednesday.
right, okay.
Is that all right?
I'm
So
fine with
that's
it.
what this is all about.
Yeah.
And all I did, Rick, was took the scope of work and the project
That's fine, yeah.
and put it in here, other than I didn't add that we would be adding his bid.
Okay,
So, you know, the 22,755 per bid, and then I'll attach the bid to it and we'll all sign it.
okay,
Or both sign it if you, I put myself down and I honestly put Kevin, because I didn't know.
We're meeting with him on Wednesday at 2 PM, provided we have approval of the contract tonight.
Okay.
But we
Yeah.
pre-scheduled it because of the rabies, trying to get the rabies clinic in at the end of the month,
understood, yeah.
okay?
Yep.
But as you got, I think
Just,
everything is subject, or just like, it's not, nothing is being presented as representation of the board.
okay. Yeah, and that's, like I say, that's kind of where I was just gonna head,
Yeah.
was just make sure
I
that there's
think
no
you, I
decisions
think
type
you
thing
saw
made.
that with what we saw for Granite State this week.
Yeah, that,
I
yeah,
made a note of it,
Yeah.
that I did not, that's,
okay,
Oh, the increase?
yeah, and that it's all just put,
Right.
like a placeholder,
right,
that's all that is.
okay,
So provided we go, then that meeting is preset
okay,
for Wednesday at 2.
okay. Sounds good. Yep. All right, so this is what we're gonna, this is.
Yeah, other than I
Okay.
just wanna add that we're going to.
Do we have to sign it?
attach- no, I'm just gonna, at the price, I'm gonna put the asterisk
Okay,
and, put like we did see attached
yep,
bid.
fine,
And then when we will have him sign his bid
Mhm.
as well as this.
okay,
Is that, I did
Yeah,
extend,
that's fine, because what I've done is I've just cross-referenced what he's outlined in his against what we have in ours, and everything aligns. And I'm sure he's gonna want us to recognize his, because there's just certain
right,
legal,
mhm,
but everything else, there's
and,
no
I just did
oversights.
the date of the 21st, cause that was really 2.5
And we're gonna have to see if he agrees to that.
okay.
But
And
we're-
then, I can gladly take my name off and.
No, I'd like to
have-
leave, I'd like to leave it
Kevin,
on there.
Are you gonna have me sign it?
No, I'd like to leave it on there, absolutely, just in case, because again, you know, if something needs to be signed, it should be you,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, and I don't, Personally, as long as we agree to it, I don't really need to sign it, do I?
No, no,
No, I just said contact would be myself or Kevin in case.
Right.
I don't envision anything happening, but I didn't last week either. so.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, and that's fine, I mean, given the alternate, but yeah,
Okay,
but I'd rather it go through you,
Me too.
yeah.
okay. I'll find you if you're fine with that.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm good.
that works.
Doesn't matter. If an emergency comes up, I'll reach out to one of us, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. We're all confused here. Okay, there's that. There's
Do we have to
that.
make a motion to accept
You
this?
should make a motion to accept it and then authorize me to sign it if you want me to sign it.
Okay. All right, so let's bring up speed, Sherry. What we did is we started a little early because our non-public canceled on us. We did talk to the Bolton Field people, and they're gonna put those lights up down there. Actually, right now, they're running light power trailers, so the noise is pretty excessive, and the things are dying, they're 20-some-odd years old, so. So we did approve that. That was basically everything we did. And manifest too, we passed the manifest. This brings us to the town hall bathroom renovations. This is what we agreed to, on the side here, and then this is the contract that we're gonna, enter into with the vendor, so. All right, I'll move that we, accept the town hall bathroom renovations contract, as written, with Naomi being the point of contact. Move and seconded, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to authorize me to sign it.
And authorize Naomi to sign it as well. Yes. Okay. All right.
Did you vote?
Yes, we did.
3, 4?
4. The cemetery, do we have anything on that?
Well, the 3 people, I mean, I don't know, the 3 people are homeowners. There's no business reference. There's 3 people that have them do performance, which
Okay.
they're all happy with.
Okay.
There's no business
I don't think we ever asked them to really specify business versus
One gentleman
versus
has
residential.
31 acres that they
Oh.
kind of maintain.
That's a good chunk of land.
I don't know that they mow all 31 acres and take care of
Right.
it, but it's a larger piece
Yep.
than just someone's home.
Okay.
They're all residential though,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a New Boston, there's a Milford, and can't think of the third one,
Okay.
but they're homeowners,
Okay.
so.
But
If
again-
you want to proceed forward, you guys
But these
can.
individuals were already working
Yeah.
for so they know.
Yeah, because the first gentleman that spoke
Mhm.
worked with Rob before.
Correct,
Right.
right. So it sounds, they know the ropes. It's just,
So if you're
Transfer.
okay with it, what I would do is draft a contract, exactly what it says.
yep, to fulfill the,
And it would fulfill it, but it would change, the due date, I mean, the end date would still be the same.
correct, that's what I mean. It would just,
Same price.
it would fulfill the vacancy. Right,
So I can do that so you can actually sign it next time.
right. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
Unless, let me just ask you this, I believe you authorized me to sign that too. So I could do it with them through the week,
It's fine.
if you guys wanna
Yes.
authorize Zero Turn to take the place of Sable.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Sable.
So the fireworks didn't meet tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
17 minutes of a meeting.
Oh, that's why I didn't come up, because Naomi figured.
Yeah, I told you, I told you that, but then
Yeah.
we were sitting around looking at each other.
All right, so that's that.
The rest you probably can keep in order if you want.
That's what I was gonna do. All right, so we'll move back to, again, we kind of juggled everything up, but we'll move back to the town administrative job description.
So in my email, what I provided you was what I was provided in March of 2009 when I applied for the job and what is attached to, or was considered part of and mentioned in my contract.
Should be in your packet there too by now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you should have copies of
Yeah.
all of it.
We all got copies and I handed them. So
Did you by,
there it is.
Yeah.
excuse me,
Yes.
So I found a couple of errors. Right in the first paragraph, it supervises the town hall, it supervises the town office,
Yeah, I like that. Office operations. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And then if you go down to, there was another one, same thing. Farther down here.
Oh, where it said hall instead of,
Yeah, it says town hall again.
okay.
Can I ask any, before we really take it, did anybody get a chance, I did email everybody, sort of, it was a version that incorporated everything that was noted in the '09 document.
See, this is the first time I've seen the '09 document,
Okay,
so I really had nothing compared to.
okay. So, just, Sherry, you would have gotten this document, I emailed it back, a month
A
ago.
while ago, yeah.
Yeah, and it basically is an updated version that is just more specific to each of the categories. In
Yeah,
other
I
words,
went through that, I skimmed through it.
When did you send that, Kevin? Roughly?
would have been
Whoops, sorry.
I can,
early February-ish.
Early February? Okay. Town mailer.
I could open my phone up and tell you if you want, but
225.
225. Duties,
yeah,
duties and responsibilities, is that correct?
yeah, powers and duties, general powers and duties.
Yep.
And what I wanted to emphasize a little bit is the communication chain
Hmm.
that we've been discussing.
Is that not in the '09? I'm just asking.
It
No.
isn't,
It's out, I mean, this is, again, you have to work with these, it's outdated, let's be real.
yeah. I think it was written for the time. This is just a more, again, it needs review by everyone, including Naomi, because I could be asking for things or stating things that she doesn't feel are appropriate.
Mhm.
But I thought it was a good, I can run copies of this if you'd like.
I might need it, because
Yeah, I
this,
can
this,
print it
this is
today.
not connecting right now.
Yeah,
yeah, mine
and
isn't either.
there's a lot to it, too.
Yeah,
It's-
and Verizon is so great in this area now.
Mm.
This is the worst service I've ever had, and being a customer of theirs, ever.
Oh, yeah, it's the other place,
Right there, yep, there you go.
supervisor exercise.
Yep.
But you know what I'm thinking, they probably took this from another town that uses the town
I'm
hall.
sure they did, I'm sure they did.
That, you know, New
Yeah.
Boston or Henniker or someplace, they
Who-
use the town hall for their town
You got,
office.
you got to remember, who was running the show in '09? It had to have been, what, Tom would have been fresh, Dick, was Dick on there maybe?
I don't know, but it
Yeah,
might have
I'd
been
say.
the town who was the town administrator before Naomi, the thin guy, the tall, kind of
Yeah,
thin guy?
wasn't it,
Fred.
no, was it Fred or was it Christensen?
Fred was after Christensen.
Okay,
I'm just, I don't know, who
Yeah.
knows?
no, that's fine.
It hits all the bases, it's just a little too generic, it isn't specific, doesn't give you sort of the details, it's like,
Well, it's also, what, 14 years old?
yeah, and it might have
Yeah.
been updated from something 14 years before that.
Oh, right, or more, for all we know.
Well, yeah, it could be
Right.
20 years ago.
Yep. There is a line, if you go to page 1, principal duties and responsibilities, at the very end of that paragraph, it says selectmen liaison when necessary or when resolution is not forthcoming.
Right.
in the version that I put together, it's, again, this is taken from other towns, okay, this is pieced together. Everything I read, the town administrator is a direct liaison to the select board. The language in the '09 document is when necessary.
Yeah, I would have to lean to agree with Kevin on that one. I think, because it really is, I mean, that's the first step before us.
Yeah, we can't circumvent
No,
her,
no.
or the administration. And this allows us to, or intimates, I don't know, I cleaned that up.
And whereabouts did you clean that up? Is that in the first one or in the?
Yeah, it'll be right off that she is the liaison directly to, and it was from memory, but I'll find it for you.
Naomi, have you had a chance to read Kevin's version?
I don't think I did, because I was gone,
Okay.
and then with everything that has cropped.
Yep.
And by the way, I didn't CC this to her
Okay,
until after we did have a discussion about it.
okay,
And in that discussion, it was recommended, but it was some weeks later.
okay.
Okay, I didn't initially.
No, I'm thinking if there was anything that stuck out to her type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
you know.
absolutely. And that was the reason it did eventually, but it was in the midst of,
In the second paragraph down, third line, says that in accordance with the town, in accordance with these policies, shouldn't it be town policies and strategies, not these? Just these?
sure.
I'm just,
sure.
it doesn't specify, that's all.
And which,
Where are we now?
Second
Sherry?
second paragraph down from the
Third
top.
line down, about halfway across, it says according with these policies, but I think you should put town policies, shouldn't you? 'Cause that's what she's going
Operations
by.
of town in accordance with these policies and strategy.
I
Sure.
Not a big deal, but.
Yeah, I am not saying that this has been scrubbed in any way. This was, when I put this together, it was to initiate the conversation, so cut it up, carve it up. And we do agree that there's no residency requirement, right?
No, I don't think so. Maybe it would be better instead of a no residency requirement, kind of like what the police chief and the fire chief is there's a certain window, a certain,
Oh, yeah, like a 25-mile radius?
right, or, obviously if it hits the fan, you want somebody that's somewhat close, not coming from, say,
Maine.
Twin Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you might want to put a residency, bubble around it.
yeah.
I think we did on the ad that we just did through MRI for the fire chief, we did 30 minutes.
I think that's acceptable. I think that's good.
Sure.
We didn't do it miles, we did minutes.
I think 30 minutes is fine. Yeah.
So,
I mean, do you think it's that important with the town administrator, like the fire
I-
department, if they have a fire or something, you want them
Well,
there
I think,
immediately, but.
I think that, with a certain, I mean, you never know what situations could arise. So you want them, like I say, you don't want them coming out of Twin Mountain, an hour or two behind. So, yeah, but,
it would limit us, I mean, this is a job description, it may limit us 30 minutes, because you really could live on the other side of Manchester and not make it here in 30 minutes.
Yeah, especially with traffic.
45?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a better,
Okay.
There.
that would get you
Yeah.
north of Sunapee.
Yeah, just
South of
Derry,
Manchester,
London,
just-
Derry, that area, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's still enough of a.
Yeah, range.
A range,
I agree.
right.
Yeah, and almost as far over to Keene,
Almost, not quite, but yeah,
yeah. Takes me
Antrim.
50 minutes
Antrim, Hillsborough,
to get to my dinner. Yep.
Washington, Windsor, that area, you could definitely be up there, so. Can we change in the specific knowledge, familiarity with computer applications, including in just
Yeah,
Microsoft,
those were literally just,
Microsoft Office? I'll just leave it at Office, cause that.
Covers a lot,
That
lot
cover,
more.
right, that covers PowerPoint, that covers Excel, Word, et
yeah,
cetera.
that was just pulled out of the air, Ricky,
Right.
for sure.
MS Office.
Yep.
It may end up being 365, because that may go
Well,
away.
and, right,
Yeah.
yep, but again, that's why we're here, you know.
Anything jumping out at you, Naomi?
No.
Under appointments, second bulletin, isn't that backwards?
What's that?
The town administrator is required to consult with the appropriate department head or board prior to presenting potential employees for consideration for hire by the board of selectmen. Shouldn't it be that the department heads go to her first?
Yes, where is it, what
It's
number are you?
page two,
Two.
Okay,
under three appointments,
okay.
and it's the second bullet under appointments.
That is required to consult with the appropriate department head and/or board prior to present.
Isn't that kinda backwards? Shouldn't the department head go to,
But
go?
usually they come to me, like Jason did.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but
He
it's,
told me who it was, what he
it's-
was doing. and
it's
then he
backwards
was
though.
mine.
It seems like you're going to them rather than them going to you
It
to
should be
come
coming
to us.
You, Naomi.
Right, it just seems like it's backwards, that's all.
It's just how I wrote it.
Yep, so I think if we just clean that up a little bit.
Okay. I knew what you were talking about.
But I think that creates like what we're talking about, Kevin. I think that creates that divide of, you know, making sure that all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed before it's presented to this
So
board.
they can't circumvent her
Well,
to get
right.
to us.
And so all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed before it comes here. It's one more set of i's
Yeah,
before
I
it comes to
agree.
us.
It's just,
So.
again,
Yep.
that's probably part of being dyslexic. Anything under supervisory responsibilities?
I'm just getting there now.
Yeah, okay, good. That sort of drills home what I was referring to earlier.
The second bullet is a little choppy, I think. Just
I
in,
was trying to pick
Yeah.
it apart just to,
yeah, it just seems a little,
it seems a little
yeah,
awkward.
a little
it
run-on-ish.
talks About employment incentives, I'm just trying to, I guess I understand
For
what
department
we're
head.
after, I just,
Okay, play with it.
Development of objectives for department heads, just take out employment incentives, I think, for department heads, while maintaining close contact with their activities and department operations, period. Evaluating their performance and making recommendations as to their, compensation, their scope of duties. I don't know about the compensation fact, well, no, that's right,
Recommendation as
That's
to
right.
their they're gonna get some kind of an increase.
right,
So
right.
if Naomi's doing the review, she says that.
Yeah, I think that cleans it up okay, I think. I think just a little bit of this,
It reads like I talk.
I've noticed, yeah,
There's lots
noticed.
of commas.
yeah, I've noticed. So,
Good night.
see you
Good night.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think that just plays into the performance review,
Mhm.
which is in bullet 5, I think, 4 or 5.
Third bullet, just flip the last 2 words.
Okay.
At the end, where it says setting policy and decision-making.
Mm-hmm. There you go, there's dyslexia at its best.
The 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th bullet, Kevin, what was the intention of that one?
Well, just because she currently does all that.
Right.
Well, I think also in the contract that we came to agreement, I said that I would attend meetings more so
Right.
that, to keep a better understanding of what's going on, because that kind of slipped through the cracks in prior ones.
Yeah, no, it just reads like there needs to be more to it, that's all.
Yeah, it was literally just thrown in there
Yeah.
for,
Instead of
just because,
cooperates, could you put works? I mean, if they needed something, I could work with them.
And
That maybe so.
yeah, I kinda don't, one of the things that I don't really understand, and I was always concerned about her the town administrator's bandwidth by taking all that on.
Yes.
So, without getting specific to what those responsibilities are, if it's just to keep the finger on the pulse, how do you write that?
Right, no, I think I understand what you're trying to accomplish, it's just, it's very,
Cooperates are
Yeah.
different, it's not like
Yeah.
they're not gonna
No.
cooperate.
Yeah, yeah, again, it was thrown in there as a,
You could take the first 2 words right off of that. And just start with cooperates with.
Coordinates,
or works with.
coordinates and works with the planning
Take all 3 of them
board.
out, works with.
Coordinates and attends meeting.
Well, for instance,
yeah, I kinda
I
like
got a
that.
HOP grant to do the master plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with Southern Hampshire Planning for them. The process got started, and then it got dropped, and then I was able to tap into Southern Hampshire Planning to help me, and we were able to obtain a grant for $25,000 to update several chapters of the master plan. But that was through my, connection with Southern Hampshire, but I didn't want to lose that, because you lose ground that's 17 years old.
Right.
So that's kind of where I mean with working with them.
Maybe, replace coordinates and cooperates with, I just had 2 words I wanted to. Keeps in contact with,
Assists,
huh?
assists.
No, that wasn't what I had it too,
That'll come back to you.
yeah. Oh, keeps in contact, there we go, keeps in contact with planning board, conservation commission, board of health, and other boards, commissions, and departments.
How about stays, keeps?
Stays in contact,
Yeah,
that's fine.
stays, I think
Yeah,
sounds better
that's
than
fine.
keeps, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Continuous contact with.
Yeah, yeah, that works,
That works.
Yeah.
It's
I like that.
Either stays or keeps, so if
Yeah.
you put continuous
yeah,
Sure,
contact with.
yep.
yeah.
And then that, I don't wanna say broadens it, but it does broaden it a little bit, to the scope that we, ask.
Public relations, if you go down the 3rd sentence,
Yeah,
their departments, and with the board of selectmen, when necessary. I'd take when necessary out. regarding town policies and direction.
Well, no, I don't,
No, I
I don't,
think you
I don't
oughta-
agree because, and the reason I don't agree is because, I mean, there may be some kind of, you know, if Jason comes over and just asks a question about, you know, the LGC or something like that, there's no need to contact us.
Well, that's true.
I mean, if it goes further up, if it's more severe,
Yeah.
then that's necessary to contact us, right?
Yeah, file an insurance claim, doesn't need to get to us.
No, but
I mean, if the department head came to her.
notification,
Yeah.
but yeah, but again, and that would be deemed as necessary.
I'm sure there's stuff every single day that happens between them that doesn't ever get to us.
Nor should it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Again, we're just trying to drill home that we can put our finger someplace and tell the department head that they need to communicate with her.
Yeah, I like the public relations, I think that looks good.
Yeah, so I just have a question. The town administrator engages in a variety of public relations and townwide coordination activities.
Oh,
Just,
where are
what did you mean by townwide coordination activities? All I can think of is the Patriot celebration. I'm like, not that.
You don't do that, right?
No,
Not really.
Not really.
And you're not
I'm
doing,
just trying to think of a townwide.
you don't do
coordination.
anything like with, when we do Old Home Day, I mean, we
If you're
fill the
thinking of
paperwork out.
townwide coordination, meaning what I'm working on the solar group with, is that what you consider townwide
Um,
coordination?
I would say townwide coordination would have been the meet and greet the other night. I'd say townwide coordination
Oh,
would be
okay, 'cause
deliberative
I
session.
did the
Mhm.
mediation.
Deliberative-
Okay,
deliberative
I took it
sessions.
outside of the town, okay.
Yeah, deliberative sessions, anything that had to do with town,
I understand what you meant
direct
now.
town business.
Yep. Just wanted to know what the intent was.
at the end of record maintenance, these reports are made available to the public.
Yeah, that's probably something I just didn't cut
Yeah,
in my cut and paste.
right. I would say that these reports
I don't think
shall,
it's not even necessary, is it?
well, I think it might be good to have in there about something about the public.
Okay,
what, are we talking about all reports? Are we talking about minutes and everything?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, yeah. But I was,
That's 5 business days.
right, but it still falls under the umbrella.
Right.
But I was gonna say that, the reports are made. These reports shall be made available to the public upon request when appropriate,
sure.
right?
You get that, Naomi?
That
Made
sounds
available
right.
upon request and/or appropriate.
Or you
Yeah.
could put maybe even per RSA.
Well, and that's why it shall, when appropriate, right? Just reading through 7, and
I am too, and I've been
Seem-
through it twice now.
in the middle, this doesn't sound right.
Which is, I don't understand that. Any measures requiring action by them or by the town meeting.
I like the last line, because that could apply to the planning board or zoning or whatever, especially if you got something for NHMA or something like that.
So how about, town administrator keeps the board of selectmen fully advised as the needs of the town and recommends the board of selectmen and to other elected town officers. Yeah, that is messy.
Yeah, I
Very
can't make
messy.
heads or sense out of it, I just,
Yeah, it'd be quite honest with
something's
you.
not there.
List,
Elected town officers and to agencies
Recommend to the boards.
for adoption. For adoption.
Could you put the
it could
word
be period
of
after action almost,
adoption?
couldn't it?
You all talked over each other, what's that?
Well, after adoption, if you put the word of, agents for adoption of any measures, that kind of clear it up?
And then you could put the period at the end of action.
Yeah, that's what I just
Stop
did,
it there.
and then stop it there. Them or by town meeting,
We can take that out.
that
I think.
doesn't
Take it
need to
right
be
out,
there.
'cause
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, add what John said and then take that line out.
Measures requiring action, period.
by any measure.
I would take,
I don't,
I would say, unless excused in advance by the board. I wouldn't put that on the chair, I don't think.
Okay. And has a voice but no vote, you okay with that?
I don't. That's kind of,
Yeah, that's why I bring it up, because I think
Yeah.
that almost crosses the line.
yeah,
Yeah, well, again, you wanna hear what the boots on the ground opinion, you know, so you want to have a voice,
And as we saw, I mean, not only in our meeting, but in the other meetings that I've attended, that Naomi's present, whether it's
Right.
planning or zoning
With the
and or
information.
fire board,
right,
she's an active participant in those meetings, because
Mhm.
they ask questions of her and she voices
right,
position.
right.
I don't see the harm in it, but I
don't-
also,
I don't either.
I kind of see how it could be interpreted by,
Yeah,
that she's an active member with, she's like a ex
Yeah.
officio member of the
Right.
board,
yeah.
which isn't the intent.
well, maybe just say that she can.
Maybe,
As requested, can voice, can give information out if it's something they don't
Well,
know.
that's what I was gonna say, the town minister has a voice in town matters.
How about town administrator?
Regarding matters before the board, but no vote?
The town administrator,
Town administrator provides information
when requested.
in all proceedings. I'm not.
Yeah,
I
but some
don't
of
think
it, some of it actually comes unrequested by us when she knows something that we're discussing or
That we should know about.
that we should know about if we're
She
acting.
gives us that information.
Yeah, but we don't request it. It happens all the time. She steps in, she just stepped in on purchasing policy to the fire wards.
Yeah. Right.
Just keep them in line.
Mhm.
A motion would have been made outside the framework of the purchasing policy.
No.
So,
Can advise.
Instead of
has a voice, has a voice regarding matters before the board, but no vote. In other words, she can't,
Well, the town administrator can advise in matters, before the board.
sure. Something
but has no vote in all of its proceedings. I like that.
I think the word voice makes it, like she's too much of an active part almost,
Yeah.
just the use of the word.
But,
Right.
so how do you wanna change it?
The town administrator, can advise,
But has no vote.
can advise in matters before the board.
But no vote and leave,
In all of its proceedings, yeah.
In all of its,
okay.
yeah.
So 9, Kevin, I'm just trying to clarify, so if DPW wanted to dispose of something at the White Farm, should they go through Naomi and then to us? And then Naomi comes to us, is that how you envision that?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I
it
just,
Takes, yeah, exactly. So that,
We
again,
also, when we have a disposition of assets in
Yeah.
our, we have a financial policy.
Okay.
And the disposition of assets has to be listed
Mhm.
when you dispose of, where you dispose of it. And Beth keeps it for our Gatsby reporting
Mhm.
of all of our assets.
yeah, that's fine, I mean, to me, it sounded like the, acquisition disposal is appropriate.
Well, if you wanted to dispose of something that is not an end of life, I would say no, but
Right,
you know what I mean? That would be a decision you guys make.
right,
And the disposal necessarily, is, you know, we've talked about the ACO car.
mhm,
If
Yeah.
there becomes a time someone wants to dispose of that, that's gonna be yours, not mine. That's a
Right.
bigger asset than,
right,
then it's up to me.
right. But usually, I think, don't we have it in the purchasing policy, a disposal value? And that, I know we upped
Yeah,
it, we just,
You upped the value, I don't remember what it is off
Right.
the top of my head, but there
But-
is a value.
so where does the town administrator get involved between that value and, say, $10,000? I don't know, that's the
Was it like,
gray area.
was it a couple $1,000 that
It was,
went up?
I
Well, it
think,
was
I think it was
kinda like when we were,
$1,000.
when we had computers we were turning over, we had sticky tags that said town of Weare and had a number on it, cause we had an inventory.
Yeah.
So then, just like cable upstairs, they cleaned out a lot of stuff and they took an inventory,
Right.
told us where it was going, and Beth has a copy in the asset.
And
book.
yeah, that's fine, but I don't think
Bigger
that's,
assets, I think, warrants a bigger discussion.
well,
But I don't, I
I
think,
mean, we're gonna have a discussion probably in the real near future on the disposal of the tractor and the mower.
mhm.
right,
And are we gonna place a value, or are we gonna advertise that on,
Yeah,
Or
so
is
you
that
have an
gonna go to
option, you guys
auction?
have done sealed bids or live auction, or you can do it with that muni bid.
yeah, municipal bid,
Online.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
municipal bid,
there's 3 ways you guys could do it to
That's-
get bids,
yeah.
and then the bids have to be accepted by you.
right.
right,
I think municipal bid's working pretty well for a lot.
Muni bid works well.
yeah. And it's just, what is that, I mean, are we gonna have a starting, I don't know how Unibid works, but is there?
Oh, it works well, but that's, like you said,
Do we have a
that's a
starting
Well,
number?
you guys have to place a
That's a-
minimum.
topic
That's what I
for,
mean.
topic
Yeah.
for another session, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, you're
Yes,
right, yeah.
But that's where she would be
Yeah,
involved in that
right.
before.
So I'm
coming.
wondering if, instead of just she makes recommendations, maybe we put, with, recommendation
So the
of the,
board.
with recommendation of department heads, she makes recommendations, acquisition, disposal as appropriate.
Exactly, just include the department in
Yeah.
that line.
Right. Because, I mean, theoretically, it should come from the department head,
Yeah,
We don't want Naomi just to walk down there and go, that doesn't look right, so let's get rid of it type thing,
or, well, yeah, any person sitting in that.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
I say Naomi, but I mean a town administrator position.
Doesn't matter,
Exactly.
yeah.
Right.
yeah, I think that cleans it up. This one,
Yeah.
she probably isn't involved really annually in a 5-year capital improvement plan,
I
right?
don't even think we've put anything together like that. I mean, we should.
Yeah,
You know, assets have a life cycle. They all do. Maintenance is gonna be our biggest, is to get everything on maintenance.
that's the
Yeah.
biggest, that's on my agenda for this year.
I would want to change in the first line of that,
The budget?
right, I would want to change leadership to guidance.
Okay?
I'm thinking maybe this contract negotiations, an additional line, just for clarification, because we've already kind of set that tone. All such contracts and agreements are subject to approval by the board. The town administrator has no vote.
Okay?
Say that again.
Right at the very end.
Yeah,
Says all such contracts and agreements are subject to the approval of the board of selectmen, period.
yeah.
The town administrator has no vote.
Oh,
It's already been stated once, so I think it should be put again.
Yeah, drill it in. I like it. Doesn't have to read pretty, it has to read direct, right?
Right. Procurement. I would say just add the board, it goes through, the Board of Selectmen must review and approve all contractual.
This next one's tricky.
Yeah.
what licenses and permits are you talking about?
Yeah, that'll be my question.
Yeah, that's why I said it's tricky. It's only because it's listed in other towns, municipalities' job descriptions. It's something that I'm not familiar with, but didn't want to leave it out if
Ne-
it is relevant.
Naomi, what licenses or permits would you be involved with?
Well, our office takes care of the junkyard permits,
Okay.
takes care of the gravel permits.
I think it's probably not gonna be long that you'll have the private hauler permits, at least under review of
The
some sort.
transfer station,
Any permitting that the town has to do for relative to,
Do you do something with the permits
Oh.
over there?
are you talking like for the overweight?
yeah,
I do review those.
yeah,
And what I'm trying to do is, right now, when I put it on there, is just make sure we're not okaying them to use anything that would access the bridge, because that's a no-no.
Hmm.
So it comes across from DOT, and I just quickly bring in up the to and the from, and then it's pretty easy. They're not using the bridge, but I just want to make sure no one's using the bridge. And the other thing is, when they're going from point A to point B, I type in a message that, to warn them that all roads are posted. It's just something that we're doing right now, because it takes permission.
Mm-hmm.
Jason's not in on Mondays. He'll text me and say, can you look at the permits? For the most part, he does it. And on Mondays, if someone needs to move something, he'd ask me to look at it. So it's not all the time, because it's mostly DPW,
So if we had like a cut permit too, like we're,
intent to cut,
yeah,
yep, I mean,
are those
It-
pass
that's-
over your desk?
so they actually go from assessing to you unless there's a question. They'll come to me with a question, for instance, we did a timber cut through the, Conservation Commission, which requires a bond. So we have to make sure we have a bond. And then the timber cuts, we have to make sure that taxes have to be current before we can sign timbers. So I do get involved, they'll come to me with a question, but I don't take, and not everyone passes my desk first. It's the questionable ones that the staff has questions about. I don't know if that answers your question. I don't look at every one, because some of them are pretty cut and dry. If they look up the taxes they're paid, they're accessed by a state road. If they're accessed by a town road, then we ask the DPW to look at it, because
Put a bond on
it may
it.
require something different because it's a blind curve or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So there are people involved in it, I can't tell you that every one crosses my
Right.
desk.
Right. So I changed a couple of words and eliminated some stuff and see what the
Sure.
board thinks about this.
Yeah,
The town administrator supervises and monitors as appropriate, the application process for all licenses and permits issued by the town. The town, period. The town administrator schedules any meetings with, department heads as required as part of the application process. In doing so, the town administrator coordinates and communicates as appropriate with the planning board, Conservation Commission, Board of Health, and other boards and commissions and departments.
Yeah, that sounds good.
nice, Ricky.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on one more time.
That's teamwork right there.
Coordinate.
So the first one ends after issued by the town, period.
Period.
Take out and.
Town
Yep.
Town
administrator.
administrator schedules any meetings with department heads required.
As
part-
required, as part of the application process.
Okay,
In doing so, the town administrator coordinates and communicates as appropriate with the planning board.
Yeah, that's the end of the course, right?
That reads pretty
Yeah,
well.
that looks good.
Town administrator seeks resources.
The town seeks out and works
It just
to
seems
obtain-
dead-ended.
Yeah,
Town administrator seeks out and works to obtain.
obtain federal, state, and other government. To obtain.
well, just, so let me ask you this, I asked you about the, there was one that just came across our desk fairly quickly for something.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't have time to research it, but I let you know.
Right.
And then you guys were like, we had, the time was too short, so I asked you if you wanted me to look at it, and it didn't sound like it was gonna be work,
Right.
or the match was too big. So, I mean, it came across just, but time is of the essence, you know what I mean? This,
Seeks.
cause the
Seeks out and works
NHMA
to obtain
sends me stuff, you know, as far as, I gave you the brief information that I haven't yet tracked down the vote from March 7th yet, but there's information that does get sent to me, and actually State Representative sent me some information regarding the boat ramp that's due in June. You know, that, we'll have to see what that involves, but a good share of them involve a match that we're not prepared for.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you can do the match in kind and take your time
Correct.
that we've paid employees to do it, then it's different.
And we've done that before.
Yeah.
Right.
To obtain.
This one's gonna, yeah.
Is it resources we're obtaining, or is it
Well,
money?
Well, I think resources could be money, it could be, you know, items, you know, I mean,
Oh, yeah, I guess it could be
you know,
from state, yeah.
right, I mean, there's some municipalities that obtain, you know, vehicles from the federal
Vehicles.
government,
Yeah.
so,
Exactly.
you know, yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's where government.
So I think
jurisdiction-
resources
Resources
really
covers everything.
umbrellas that, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess we can leave that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of just a generic line
Yep.
item, but it needs to be
Yeah.
there. And this is an umbrella.
I'd like to make it clear in here that, and I guess maybe not here is the place to do it, but I don't want department heads picking up the phone and calling somebody.
Well, that's what I was just, stop that. I was trying to figure out how to put that in here, inject that.
I just don't want anybody, she knows the rule, I mean,
Right.
I have informed her that she needs to run it by me if somebody calls her.
Mhm.
But I just want it further that they have to really obtain permission. It's your budget, which I have watch over. And I don't want every little twig or something need to have the town council call. for it.
Is that clearly stated here?
No, I don't believe it is.
Council.
Cause it says I coordinate, facilitate, and monitor.
Yeah, that's why that word's
Yeah,
there.
and then coordinate litigation. But it says in legal opinions between the Board of Selectmen, Town Council, and various boards, department, committee. And then it says it oversees and coordinates.
Okay, so how do you want to strengthen that up?
The town administrator coordinates litigation in any and all legal opinions between the board of selectmen, town council, and various boards. So that right there is the stopgap. Any and all.
Yeah,
Okay. And, you know, legal opinions between the board, the town council, and various board.
Departments, committees, and commissions.
yeah, I mean, you can go as far as saying, no, that no board, department, committee, commissions will solicit
Council.
council without approval of the town administrator. I mean, you can really nail it.
But it's my job description, I have to get that out to everybody. So it's
Yeah.
my
Right.
responsibility to make sure that I'm
Yeah,
the one,
exactly.
but I can't,
Right.
you know, unless I'm gonna share my job description with every employee, then they
Right.
know.
But this empowers you to do that. That's all this is about, right?
I'd want to put, in the end as well, says monitors the legal budget and manages any and all legal actions. I just want to put that in there again, by and against the town.
Manages all legal action.
Yeah, cause a lot of the liability goes to the insurance.
Right.
Yeah.
So you like the catch-all, the very last.
I like that last sentence and other duties. That's definitely a catch. That's definitely a large net.
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin, what do you mean by what's the affirmative action officer?
And then it's just, I think it just needs to be put in there as far as the legal side of it, really.
Maybe get some clarification before we,
Well, no, I just didn't know, cause I kinda do the HR part of it, but, I mean.
well, that's what I'm wondering.
That's where you do
It
the,
might,
Maybe
it might
it's-
not be appropriate here, but I think some places it probably would be.
Okay.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. If we get a definition of that per se,
yeah,
maybe that would,
I think-
that would help us inject that properly in that.
What,
I just had never heard that.
the affirmative action?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Affirmative action officer, yeah. Just as to what that represents for us, right?
It might be, it's more appropriate for larger municipalities
Okay.
once you do the research, but
Okay.
it's in there because I think it,
Yeah,
but it could easily disappear, and I don't think anyone would make issue with it.
Ooh, I think on the physical requirements, we can strike the last line in its entirety. Regularly conveys information to the public. That seems like a run-on for nothing.
Yeah, again, that's probably cut and paste, missed it, editing.
Kinda what I was thinking. I wanna add a line,
What, 50 pounds?
no,
100,
100.
100, yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, I can do that.
No, to transact town business, parentheses, this requires a valid driver's license.
Sure.
Well, no, I like that, but I wanna add in there with proper, class for a vehicle being driven.
Yeah.
With what?
With the proper class for the vehicle being driven.
Well, so if she brings in a 3-ton truck, that she's got the license to CDL to drive
Yeah.
it.
With
Yeah.
proper class for
Yeah.
what?
With,
So if we ask you.
no, just the wording,
Yeah,
just, she understands, it's just the
To
wording.
make sure that if we ask
So
you
if you
to
buy a
haul,
police motorcycle, I can drive it, 'cause I have a motorcycle license.
yeah,
Right.
and if we ask you to haul to the incinerator,
Yeah,
that you have the proper CDL to do it for.
right.
Not a prayer in that one. So what'd you say with proper?
I says,
class
yeah, this
for-
requires a valid driver's license with proper class for a vehicle being operated. Other than that, I like it. Obviously, I think, Kevin, with that, I think the last step on this, obviously, if we at this table all like it, is to send it to legal counsel.
Sure, yeah, this is just really, I
Right.
put this
So-
together to get the
And
conversation.
I think that goes across with all of
Is
them.
that, so we've came up with changes, are you changing them, am I changing them, and then send it?
You're changing,
Okay,
and it's, what,
that's-
the version I sent you should be editable.
in
You should
Word,
be-
I saw it, yeah,
Yeah.
it's in Word, yeah.
Okay.
So I make your changes
Mm-hmm.
and send it to town council.
Yep, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
And then if she has to weigh in on it, or,
Town council is gonna be in all situations for all the ones that we talk about, is
yes,
send them.
I believe so. I believe so once we get done with it, because, well, and probably more so, Mark than Laura.
Right, he's the employment.
He's
yeah.
employment. He's gonna be the one that knows if one of these terms that we've changed and or whatever will put us in the bind, and,
Yep.
you know.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, and no, like
I
I
think it
said,
makes sense.
like I
So
said,
is-
I don't
so
pretend to
the-
be
So I,
HR.
so was the idea that this is kinda like this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
It's morphing into this.
Okay.
I would
Just
say
wanna make sure.
because we have not adopted this yet, whatever is the most current is still what's on the book.
oh yeah, no, I'm just
But
meaning, this is my copy.
It will,
so-
it will be a replacement
Okay.
for,
Perfect.
eventually.
yes, as time goes on.
So where are we going next?
You want a DPW director?
I think we go DPW.
Okay, so that I gave to you,
Yeah,
it's a
and-
2-page,
And
and I
this,
think I copied it upside down.
and this came from,
So this is one that Kevin forwarded us, the same with mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
this again is
This
something
is
like
again, and what I provided you, I
a
don't
couple weeks
remember,
ago.
a few weeks ago, was 2 that I came across in the advertisement classified
And you
for
handed-
NHMA.
you handed us some paper, right?
I handed
Yeah,
you,
And I don't have mine with me,
one
Ricky.
was Deerfield, I think, so,
Oh, check.
Oh, I have
Maybe I
it.
should do something with that.
I guess one was I only gave you one.
Yeah, I think it was just Deerfield, I
Just
think.
It was Deerfield.
Yeah,
That one I was on.
And I didn't bring that file, so I don't have that.
yeah. she can have
It
one.
was recently.
Yeah, yeah.
Sherry doesn't have one. Do
I
you
don't
want me to
have it.
make more?
I don't have one either. I'll make it.
You sure? You know you can do that?
I think I know how to do it.
Okay,
If I don't, I won't.
okay.
I thought I had a copy of that.
All right, Kevin, make 4.
I got one.
Oh, never mind.
He's gonna make it.
Well, we're getting into more employment agreements, so maybe I'm getting closer. No, I'm back in December now. I know it wasn't that long ago,
No, I only handed it to you like
a couple weeks ago.
a couple weeks ago.
It's
Because
only-
we had talked about.
Oh, here it is, I got it.
All right, well, once he gets the machine, we'll see if he can make it work.
That wasn't very nice.
No, I mean, we used it pretty well today for absentee ballots.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure she was pretty warm
She
from
had
that.
150, I think, ordered, and we made another 100.
Wow,
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah,
it's
I
okay.
know.
That's good.
Front parking lot, back parking lot was full.
That's good.
Lobby was full, this room was full.
That's good.
Well, we put out a notice, as you saw,
Mm-hmm.
that anybody that wanted to come
Yep.
in here. And that was the alternative in keeping our meeting.
Right.
Well, it's good, because a lot of the older people aren't gonna wanna come out tomorrow.
No, and I can't blame them.
So it's gonna be a crappy day.
Or even the parents that are home with kids all day.
Yeah, they're not gonna have to wanna leave and drag the kids out.
Correct. Do I hear him from thumping at things? John, he found his. John has his, so I yelled at you too many. Yeah. Yeah. If you want, I can shred them upstairs too. I took the extras of the other.
So, before we get started on this one, again, this is really like a worksheet, okay?
I'm just forwarding a quote that I received for the fire department. I'm gonna forward that to the
Yeah,
chief.
no. Yeah, so, just as we get into this, this was just more of a bullet type of what we'd be looking for as we enter into the process. So, don't take
Where's
it,
the original? Do we have the original one that we've been using?
I didn't find the original one, but, I don't know that I can get to.
excuse me.
Yeah, I won't be able to get to it. I can get to emails, but not to the server that I can get on my stuff. So, let me try something.
Okay.
So, this particular, I guess, the way I was looking at this, there's two different things going on. One is putting an ad together soliciting people to fill a position, right? Then the other is a job
Job description.
description for the person that's currently in the position, that knows what their responsibilities are.
Right.
The two are very close and aligned, but so what the bullet format that I did was just trying to pick through, again, since we have, I don't know,
Yeah, I can't reach I'd have to go through the server to the old file of all the first, job descriptions.
Oh,
And it's
boy.
under two administrators ago,
Wow.
so I can't get to it from my phone. We can look at it, I mean,
Huh.
but
Well, I think that's probably changed a little bit if it's,
it
if we're,
has changed
if we're talking that, because how long you been?
since '09,
Okay, so there's,
15 years.
and then.
and then two before that.
Two before that, so we're talking probably,
I'm sorry, 2 years, and I didn't mean 2 years, because I think they were either done during Fred or before Fred. Think before Fred.
You think Christensen? Was
No,
it-
'cause
Did
you
Bob
had
do 'em?
Ed Barrett in there.
Oh, well, that's right, Ed Barrett, I forgot about him.
You had another guy for a month.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna worry about him.
It was done before.
that's just a long time.
Well, I mean, Ben's talked about 20 years, so it's
Yeah.
been a long time.
Been a long time. Okay.
Well, just that'd be
so
nice to
why
be
don't
able
we
to
just read
compare it.
down through it like we did and see if we're headed in the right direction?
Which, the one that we have in front of us, this one?
The worksheet, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, is there, and if anything jumps out that we're missing,
Mhm.
so one is what we would want to include in the ad, right? Like, if you look at sheet on the second page of this, Ricky,
Yep.
I actually started like, I kind of did it in reverse. You know, I started right, like, all right, well, if I was gonna flip, you know, the introduction's at the end of
Mhm.
this. First
Right.
is, what are we actually looking for now that we've changed, we're sort of created a new road agent slash DPW director by taking water and sewer away, right?
Right.
So that was my thought process, and I don't, this is done weeks ago too, so.
I don't wanna get too far off that tangent, but is that working out okay right now, as far as everything we've done, testing and water and sewer.
Yeah, actually, I got a call today, I just looked at an email.
Okay.
Second Wind wants to come and inspect the water system, so he's gonna call her and schedule it.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's,
And then there
that's
was a tank lining, company that wanted information, and I just,
for,
it's nice to have somebody
That's-
else know what is
that's-
going on.
okay.
But we've got,
That's-
yeah, testing's underway.
that's all I wanted to know.
We had an inspection with the state, we've made our changes, and now Second Wind wants to come in. It's worked very well.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing. I think that was something that probably needed to be done a while ago. I mean, we had the resource at the time, but I just wanna make sure that that's still
All you do is
valid.
forward him an email, a phone call.
That's
he
still
came.
valid for the direction we're heading with this,
Sure.
that's all.
There's one down, about halfway that says ensures proper maintenance care of all department equipment. That probably isn't the case, is it? We don't do the service on police cruisers, do we? We do,
If we can, if they have time.
Yeah,
but we don't do.
Fire department, yeah, we do.
Okay,
Absolutely, yeah. I think it should stay in there, absolutely.
okay.
but it's as, like, they call and see if there's time to do it. It's
Right.
As scheduled or.
Right, in the winter,
Per schedule.
in the winter, they kinda try and shy away, I don't wanna say shy away, but,
They don't have as much time.
call with the understanding that they're probably gonna say no. But, summer could be way different.
But it's fine leaving it in there.
Yep.
We also need to back up a little bit, because it says recommends, prepares, monitors the budget for highway department operations. Should be highway department and transfer station.
What line you on?
To stay in line with like bullet number 2, which says evaluates work of all highway department transfer station personnel.
Okay.
It was, this one, the capital planning one. Recommends, prepares. I would like to add, says facilitates facility maintenance for DPW and transfer station buildings. I'd like to add facilitates facility and grounds maintenance.
Okay,
Cause it's just, between the sand piles and the salt shed, and that, to me, that's the grounds.
yep.
I think I would strike, closer to the bottom where it says skill and operation. I think I would strike the last line, ability to make minor repairs on highway department equipment.
We better be able to make more than minor.
Right. I mean,
Should be our ability to make major.
Well, not not necessarily,
the director,
not the director.
No,
but I think it just clutters that line.
Okay, that's fine. So he wouldn't be able to, right?
Yeah.
Necessarily have to, right? That's
Right.
fine.
Not to say that he can't jump in and help, if he was there.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's not a requirement. And The only reason I added the adverse weather conditions is just so that
Oh,
people
yeah.
realize they have to get
Oh,
outside, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, my job isn't just a desk
Right.
job. Ricky, is it a CDLB?
Yeah, A is tractor trailer.
A is tractor trailer, B is truck only.
Should be A and B, right?
I think down there, honestly, for the director, I think a B is sufficient. But I would wanna add,
Well, somebody's gotta have an A down there.
oh yeah, and they do, they do.
Who has an A down there now?
Tony.
Mo,
Tony's
Tony,
gonna be leaving.
yeah, but Mo and Tony and, who else? I thought, Scott has an A.
Okay, yeah, it isn't a requirement, again, it's not a requirement
Right.
for the position. And the other one that I messed up.
Well, no, I would wanna add to that, though, if, I think we should stick with a B with no restrictions,
Yeah, again, I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with these licenses, so.
because some of them have an auto restriction,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying,
Oh, yeah.
Brake endorsement and all that.
I would want you to have the air brake endorsement, you know, if you're gonna have to go out with the fire truck to wash the bridges, you need the tanker endorsement.
Right.
And those are only written endorsements, they're not huge. So, it's not like trying to require a hazmat or something like that, that'd be way over the top.
And the solid waste principal operation certificate, I don't know, it's step 2. Does that mean anything to anybody?
I don't know what they are. They usually step 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that for the transfer station?
Yeah, and I don't know if they still do, because you had to go step 1 first, and then you had to wait so long to get 2, wait so long to get 3. I don't know if that's still the way it is. 'cause
Even,
Did you have all
may
those,
not be able
John?
to get step 2 within 90 days. I'm not sure.
It depends, is it the state that provides classes too? You're at their
Yes.
mercy for the schedule.
Yes.
I guess my thought would be, I mean, you know, one side of me says, do we need to have a DPW director that has that certificate? But on the other hand, I think of yes, and exactly that, is we need to have a backup that's ready to go.
It's
It's,
a better fundamental understanding.
yeah, and anything could happen, so to have a backup, like Sherry was just saying, I think that's key,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Not to say they'd use it every day, but we need to have it maintained for
So let's just,
redundancy.
you wanna let you leave it as a solid waste principal operator certification?
I think so,
Right.
yeah.
And get rid of the step,
I
because.
think the step confuses it, complicates it.
Make it certifications plural, because there's more than one step, right?
Yeah, There used to be. I don't know what they are, how they do it now.
Yeah.
but,
So we'll just leave operator certification.
Yeah.
So I guess the only thing I would wanna add, and it would be under the recommends, prepares, and monitors the budget for the highway department operations and capital planning. I just wanna add in there, about the, and I don't know how to do it, but I'm just gonna put it out there for food for thought, about presenting the budget to us at budget season, and also being available / present at town meeting.
And finance committee.
I just want it all, I would just want it all inclusive in there, you know.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I don't know where to put it, I don't know how to inject it, but I'd want all those points to be in there.
The other thing, I mean, maybe I missed it, but we don't have anything that the director should be able to train on any of that equipment, should be knowledgeable of all equipment. Did I miss that?
Supervises, trains, and evaluates the work of all highway department and transportation personnel.
You know, so we don't have a road grader operator now, so
So that's
we
just
need somebody that knows how to run a road grader that can train a person.
skill in the operation and maintenance of construction equipment,
We just lost a road grader applicant
Right,
to
Yeah.
somebody else's,
Oh.
because we were.
but it says skill and operation now,
still
Okay.
getting
so
it.
it is there,
it's there, okay.
it's there.
And the other thing, we don't have anything about, 7 to 10 years' experience, or,
Yeah, well, that, again, that kind of falls under the applicant
Yeah, under the,
side of this.
Yeah.
That's the job description.
this is the job description,
description,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where, yeah, that gets a little,
Yeah.
so Ricky, let's go back just to make sure Naomi has that language. Almost seems like it should be a separate bullet.
And it very well could be, and that's fine, I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure it's
In
included.
other words, responsibility to present.
I just was gonna say recommends, prepares, monitors, and presents.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
covers it.
Hang on, presents, this pen really is terrible. Presents the budget for highway operation and transfer, for highway department and transfer station operations and capital planning
two,
to
the board of selectmen,
Those
finance committee, CIP. Yeah.
BOS, finance,
Other than that, I think it's pretty inclusive.
available for town meeting. That make it. So it says recommends, prepares, monitors, and presents the budget for highway department and transfer station operations and capital planning to the CIP, Board of Selectmen, Finance, and be available for town meeting.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So this is step one, and then we still have to develop like an advertisement type thing.
Yeah, so the advertisement, I think, is pretty clear.
Mhm.
I think we go right directly to, we just take the generic language of the amount of years of experience we have, right? And then we slap this in behind it. I mean, here's our job description, here's the person, the number of years' experience, this is what we expect you to be able to do to meet the requirements of our town. So, basically the only difference, I mean, you're a DPW director, you're applying for DPW director position, and that basically is highway and transfer station, and here are the requirements. And whether or not it's 7 to 10 years' experience in the management operation, I mean, I don't know, that's what this one from, where it was Greenfield or
Deerfield.
Deerfield.
Yeah, because
That's
they did
what they
7 or 10, and then they did, at the end, all of people do it, or any equivalent combination of education and experience.
Yep.
That's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I like that line, cause you don't know.
There could be an event, I mean, there could be, I honestly, when I applied for this job,
Right,
I had many, many years of experience in multifacets of the town offices.
right,
And part of my discussion with, when I was hired, was, would you be interested in furthering your education?
yeah,
Right.
So,
Right.
I think if you've got someone that's got a good understanding, but maybe needs that little bit more,
mhm.
they took their chance
Well,
on
that's
me,
just
and
it.
here I am, but.
If they were always in that number 2 slot for the last whatever years, but never actually fulfilled the role, to me, it's,
But filled it during someone's vacation.
right, exactly,
Or, I was interim twice.
there you go.
I was selected as the
To
interim.
me, that would be equivalent combination of, so, yeah.
Again, a big part of why we're have gotten onto these is part of the review process, correct? So if we're gonna sit down and have that one-on-one review with even our interim director, which I think we have responsibility to do, he has to know what we're asking.
The goalpost is.
Yeah,
You gotta know what's expected of you.
yeah, and right now, it's obviously very, very gray, right?
Oh, very.
So, and now the ad, structuring this around the ad, I think is clearly, is 7 to 10 years' experience, is that what we're looking for? Or is that number, Deerfield was, is that what we are, where we are?
Well, that's what Deerfield was.
Well, they're looking for a senior person, I think that, are we looking for a senior person if we're gonna have road reconstruction and? I mean, I hope we're not gonna go out and have to hire our roads being rebuilt by a company that will really affect the tax rate for us, because that's not gonna be a good thing.
We've never tried that.
We-
Not to say that that's not an avenue you could try.
Well,
Right.
No, I mean, I don't think we
Hoppington-
wanna do that, I think we want
Hoppington-
Well, if we don't get any help, we're gonna have to do that.
Yeah,
What did
We're
Hopkinton
down
do? They
6
just put
people, it's
a
not
mile
fun.
of road out and it was
Yep.
1.2 million, I think.
Have we got ads out for 4 or 5
We've been
trucks?
on
of course we
Indeed.
do. Of course we do.
Yeah, we've been on Indeed, putting them out there.
I just had picked up the last messenger, I didn't see anything, so I didn't know if you
Well,
were,
we learned the Messenger didn't. give us
Messenger doesn't
anything
have
but
results though,
plus.
that's the problem. It's, you gotta be on some kind of a device, some kind of a, you know,
And we got 4
media-
to 5
media
out of the
form.
last one, we were all ready to do tonight, and someone
Scott,
offered us a better thing
scoop.
Yeah,
last week,
better
so
job,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
you
yeah,
know where he went?
I don't.
Yeah.
Jason didn't tell me.
doesn't really apply to this
And
conversation.
I don't know that he even told him, he
No.
just
Right.
said.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
opportunity,
you're right.
yeah,
Drifted.
right,
Um,
so, okay.
yeah, I don't,
I like this, you know,
I've never seen 7, I've seen 5.
yeah, I think 5 to 7 would be the window, I think. Yeah,
Cause hardly anybody stays 7 to 10 anymore.
oh, yeah, no, I know, and especially in this market, it's changed so much. Even in the last 3 years, the market has changed so much. So, yeah, I would say that, I like the way this is written.
So you say this, meaning,
Yeah,
Yes.
for an ad
Get
campaign.
him in the door, right?
Right. Again, second page, top line, I would say the step 2, I just confirm what the steps are. I guess before we eliminate it out of the description,
We need
we
to
just
clarify that.
clarify what the steps are.
Yeah.
Call in RRA,
Yeah,
they'll tell you.
right. And I would say possession of valid CDLB license without auto restriction, because we still have some manuals in the fleet.
say that one more time?
Possession of valid Class B license without auto restriction,
What's that? Auto restriction.
automatic transmission.
Oh,
You gotta be able to drive a standard.
You gotta be able to drive standard.
Yeah, I drive one every
We still
day.
have them in our fleet, so you need to be able to drive them.
I think I'm gonna go get my Class B and start driving.
Sounds good.
I used to, I never had a Class B, but I
Trust me,
drove
you'll
stuff
have
that
a
was.
job as soon as you get the license. It won't even be fresh out of the printer and you'll have a job.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think that changing those up a little bit, like you said.
Half of Continental's drivers are women now.
Oh, no, yeah, yeah.
Half of them.
And most of those trucks are now automatics. You know, again, that is the way that the you know, the truck
Industry's moving.
industry is progressing, is to an automated and or full-blown fluid automatic transmission. But some of, you know, the heavy haul, you just can't, you know, a lot of it, you just can't, you have to still have that manual drivetrain. So,
Gotta have a lot of gears, keep downshifting.
so,
We're drifting from the topic.
we are. So,
Okay.
but I think 5 to 7 years, I think is good for a window. And again, equivalent combination or education of
Yeah.
experience, so, but that puts it out in perspective. I like it, I think it's good. I don't know about the rest of the
Good
board,
place
but,
to start,
yep,
definitely.
all right, so
So
we're,
hang on, so you, just to be clear, so you've done the description, which is really gonna mirror this.
it pretty much
with the
does.
extras.
And if you noted, when putting this together, I did cross-reference the two so that they
Yep.
kind of
And, but
align, but
before we put this together, is make the appropriate changes and attorney look at it first?
Yes, yes,
Before I go
Yeah.
to this step?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and
absolutely.
this would
Just
sit,
wanna
and
understand.
this, and this version is what sits in the employee file,
Correct.
not the
But
advertising.
before this step occurs, this step has to be okay.
Be solidified, right.
Perfect.
And again, we'll have, you know, we'll have another, I would say we'll have another shot at this, but we'll have a last review before it's adopted
Yeah, I'm sure,
on all these positions, obviously.
Yep.
yeah, there's gonna be comment on this, right?
Correct, yep.
Yeah.
Just wanna make sure we're on the same page.
All right, so that brings us
We're making
to
progress, right?
the police chief.
And I didn't do anything with this.
No,
This
no,
came this afternoon.
yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't even go.
I do appreciate the chief kicking this over to us, because obviously we need to have this, so.
Yeah, it was done, looks like in 17.
No.
So it probably was part of the advertisement when we hired Chief Moore.
Oh, it very well could be,
I don't
absolutely.
know 100%, but I'm thinking it might have been. But like I said, I forwarded you as soon as I got it, because I wasn't.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is, so if you look at the header, and this written directive is for the internal governance of the Weare, blah, 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 written by, and is not intended and should not be interpreted to establish higher standard care, blah, 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 blah. So basically, Sean F. Kelly, Chief of Police, wrote his own job description.
Could very well have been.
Could very well
It
be.
says it right there.
Well, so he was hired prior to do some policies and stuff.
Right, he was hired by
Before we ended
Valeka
up
to do the
in-
policies and the,
right,
yeah.
Before we ended up
Because-
in the chief of
Because he
police.
was so deep with Kalia at the time, he was kinda recommended by other chiefs and departments and commissions to say, hey, why don't you have this guy? Because at that time, in 14, we really didn't have anything that was good on paper. And that's, I mean,
Yeah.
initially, Sean was hired as a consultant.
Right.
Yeah, so that makes
So-
sense. Similar to stuff we'll probably see,
Yep.
recommendations from in operation.
So something tells me
Jerry,
this probably came from other,
Durham, maybe.
it may have been Durham, but it probably came from others,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
other communities that he put together.
Right, and this also, at the time, between 14 and today, this has passed that CALIA accreditation scrutiny. So, not saying it's all correct for 2023, but it has passed that scrutiny.
Can we get something newer?
This is the newest.
This is,
He
this
sent it
this is what's
today.
on file. This
Oh,
is the
okay.
newest.
This is what was here.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was also used when he was hired in 19.
Yes,
Right.
This hasn't been changed.
Changed?
correct.
Well,
And then also what to you was provided, where Chief Moore came from,
Right,
as a different example from another town,
right, yep.
another state.
So this was revised in 17,
Mm-hmm.
But he was hired in 19.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
the Norfolk, Virginia one is very specific about the physical demands.
Mm.
You gotta push and be able to pull a chair. And filing cabinet drawers.
Mm.
You have to be able to open them up.
It doesn't say anything about, that I saw anyway, unless I missed it, about the chief of police going out and actually working.
I don't believe it says anything to that effect.
No,
No,
neither,
because
neither do.
if you remember, so this, keep in mind, this is 17.
Mhm.
When the chief was hired, we were looking for someone to be a working
Mhm.
chief. So this doesn't reflect it
Reflect
because
it
it
at all.
doesn't exist.
Okay,
Correct.
Not as written here.
right, I think we need to add that, though.
That's right. I mean, this is where you guys
Mhm.
take and pull it apart like we just did, honestly, with mine and the DPW.
Right.
Yeah, as I read this, it's pretty specific about what has to happen
Yeah,
specifically at the PD,
yep,
Right,
okay?
Yeah.
And it addresses that. And now it's the integration of that department head for presentations. As, you know, again, the chief this year did a good job presenting the finance. I happened to sit in on that one. But it doesn't state it as part of his job description to have those skills necessarily. And the interaction with the town administrator as the liaison to the board, to avoid circumventing the town administrator. And as, you know, we've all, I guess, trying to create a system where we're better prepped for what issues are coming before us before they arrive. At least for my 1 year here, on several occasions, and it might just be because the agenda is not specific enough. It says department heads, but I don't know what the department head is arriving with.
right.
And that I would like
And
to,
sometimes they're not on the agenda and are here, and we address them.
yeah,
Right.
but that I would like to at least avoid because we're caught flat on our feet and asked to make a decision. So I would like to incorporate that into the job description, is that this particular department head, as the other department heads, communicate through our liaison, so we are prepped. Because that's the only other time, and we don't get into their day-to-day affairs down there, investigations or whatever else.
Nor do we want to.
Yeah, well, it's not our job, obviously.
No,
It's really
no, but I think that might be able to fit nicely at the other, somewhere in the 1 through 10,
yes,
you know.
Well,
And maybe that's all we do is just inject one paragraph or one whatever, one bulletin point.
yeah,
And then we can put a, you know, case close on this.
yeah, meets regularly type of a thing, and with the understanding that
Yeah.
if we really do need to get into a better chain of command, so that we, I guess, to maximize our time. Because
Yeah.
if we're
Oh,
not,
absolutely.
if we're not prepared, what we do is
We're gonna ask-
we kick the can.
Or we could ask, you know, basically non-pointed questions for, you know, because we haven't had the time.
Yeah, and which is annoying to them, but we're not prepared.
We're not prepared.
so the chief, whoever it is, should come over and go through and review with Naomi.
Yeah.
Prior to any meeting.
Yeah.
So we have
you know,
some
yeah,
information.
Yeah, we,
We try, you know, we kind of discussed this in a broader context almost a year ago or 8 months ago, but we didn't have it defined, right? We asked the chief, you know, can you meet more regularly? And in fairness to him, he didn't know what we were saying. But, I mean, prior to anything you want to pass through the board needs to go through the town administrator prior to arriving here. Basically, that's how I feel about it. So in that weekly meeting, if he foresees, you know, this is where, you know, this is what I want to show up with, then when talking to the chair and setting an agenda, the chair knows, and the agenda reads, Chief Moore presenting whatever grant for 6 new tasers, no impact to the taxpayer. Okay, we want to ask a question about that before our meeting, we can reach back out to our town administrator and/or via the chief, via the town administrator. Can you get us some more information on that? Where's it coming from?
Right.
As we got called out by a resident, that, okay, we approved a device, but does that device have batteries? So is that gonna have a recurring cost?
Right.
Right?
Right, that could
We
have been
cer-
answered.
We certainly weren't prepared that night when I slipped
Yeah.
by saying, I don't see an issue with it, because I never saw it coming.
Right,
It was in the middle of something else.
right,
So somehow all that getting incorporated into that magical paragraph.
yeah.
Make it number 11?
11,
Or interject somewhere in between 1 through 10, I don't know if it would be more appropriate to put it 1
somewhere
through 10.
else, yeah.
Or would it be 11, I don't know.
Where is it, 1? Or
Well,
2?
or, yeah, whatever.
And shift the numbers, right?
Well, correct, because you already talked about in 1, that at the end, periodically prepares reports of agency activities to the town administrator and/or the board as applicable.
Well, maybe we just recraft that one.
Yeah,
That could be as easy as that.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do that tonight, or what are we doing?
Yeah, why not add it in?
Let's see why we can't add it in.
I think periodically is the gray word.
Yeah.
Gray word?
Well, I think it's,
Too gray.
it says-
In other words,
well-
I'd like to crispen that up.
the way I read this is agency activity is, you know, hey, the last 6 months we've done, 8 DWI arrests, we've done whatever. To me, that's an activity, not so much the day-to-day stuff that like you're referencing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but define periodically.
Exactly. Well, I think maybe,
No,
maybe that needs to come
so-
out.
Put
Is
in
it
there
once a year?
monthly,
Yeah.
Well, we could say the chief of, the chief of police will meet monthly and/or as necessary prior to Board of Selectmen presentations. Either, he can do it orally, he can do it through an email, or the once a month physical meeting with the town administrator, which then would be that, here's the agency's activities, right? And he doesn't need to come in, that can come as part of the administrative report, if necessarily from the town administrator,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah, it could keep him,
Yeah, back at what he, again, he doesn't have to come and tell us, but the town administrator should definitely know if we want to make an inquiry, that should be information that should be right at hand, because at times I'm kind of curious what, how many times a week does somebody get pulled over around here? 'Cause-
oh, yeah, and that would be, to me, that would be an agency activity, right?
Yeah,
But,
Oh, do it monthly, just a monthly, send a report in to the town administrator to review with the selectmen.
well, I think it could be, well, yeah, either that or even more often or whatever, but,
yeah. Again, I venture to guess that in my 1 year, the police department has presented to us at least a dozen times,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
once a month.
I want to divert a little bit, and I guess table this for a moment. We're obviously, coming up with a lot of ideas, we're putting a lot of thought process in all of these. I'm just wondering if, because I'm feeling it right now, I'm kind of shutting down.
Okay,
I'm just wondering if we should cap these work sessions at 2.5 hours or something like that.
Sure.
Or 2.5 hours. That's what I mean, I'm just, because I just feel myself just, it's bedtime type thing.
6:30 to
Yeah.
8:30, 2 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 hours or whatever. I'm just thinking maybe, I want to get a lot done. I feel
Yeah.
like we got a lot done on all the other topics, but I
Yeah.
just feel as I'm.
No, we're cold on this.
I'm
Yeah,
drifting.
for sure.
So
I'm drifting
why-
on this one,
Could you
that's all.
look, this only came across to you
Right.
later today, because we had a conversation today.
Right, yeah,
So could you take this and kind of,
yeah.
Kevin's word
Run
is
it with this-
noodle some of the things that were
Yeah.
discussed and where we could put them.
That's what you're gonna be known for your term, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Noodle.
Hey,
Noodle Cahill.
I will, so Ricky, I agree with you 100% because we're just gonna spin our wheels.
I just
So
wanna make
unless
sure
you-
that we're being, like you said,
Unless we
managing
take-
our time properly.
Unless we take a run at this, like this,
Right.
we could sit here and talk forever.
Exactly, and that's kinda what I'm thinking is, you know,
Okay.
Yeah, no,
we're,
Okay.
we're running on fumes, you
Yeah.
know, so.
I agree. So I will,
Like I said, I'm not
I'll-
trying to cut anybody off, I'm just thinking
that
we
in
need to be
there.
effective while we're
Yeah, I
here.
know.
thanks, John. So I will personally, and I think all of us should, is do some research to see if we can crispen up basically number one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the rest of it is pretty decent, honestly,
Yeah.
I think this is well-written.
Yeah.
But I think it just needs, like I said, a little caveat, you know,
Okay.
that's all, so,
And that goes on for your next work session.
absolutely.
Yeah, and we're limiting work sessions to 2 hours,
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
right?
Yeah, because again,
End of the day,
we discussed a lot of information tonight, you know, we really did,
You made some good progress.
yeah. I completely agree. I just, like I said, you know, 2 hours I think is probably pretty good considering.
Yeah, okay. So we'll add this to the agenda for the next work session.
Got here.
We did, we did that as you walked in.
This
And-
one?
And this one,
We did this one
yeah.
after I got here. The end of it.
We're, the lawn care, we're gonna,
You guys-
she's gonna rewrite the
Write that,
contract.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Just to
no, you
fulfill the
gave
term.
me to go ahead and,
Right, I'm just, yeah, just to fill the term that is gonna be vacant,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
And the bathroom renovation, you did.
Yeah.
yeah, you gave me,
We already
you
awarded that,
gave
we just
me
approved
the okay
the,
to
Contract.
move with
Right.
zero turn and a new contract exactly right.
to fulfill the
Yeah,
vacancy,
just, I wasn't here for that. I just wanted to make sure we'd done it.
so. Before we adjourn, I would like, this is the last meeting of, the current board. I would like to thank John Van for his 3 years of dedicated service to the town. John Osborne, I would definitely like, to see you here again after tomorrow. We'll see what the voters have to say.
Yep.
But, right, wrong, or indifferent, I wanna thank you for your time served on the board, and look forward to more service. So,
Hopefully.
but again, I think in the last, 3 years, I think this board has functioned very well. You know, I mean, John, you've been on, what now, this is 6 years? 6 years, you know, I think we've done very well, so, again, I don't want that to go forgotten, because again, I think this board has done quite a bit in the last
Yeah.
10 years.
And John, I'd like to thank you personally, because again, there's a steep learning curve, as you mentioned the first night I came on board. And every time I've reached out to you over the year for clarification on something, you've always been there, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, so, again, best of luck for tomorrow, and, voting, it starts at 7,
Yeah, I have one thing.
and it goes to 7, and Naomi has one thing.
Well, I just, I had emailed you all at a little before noon time,
Yes.
and as far, we talked about elections, you and I did. They're going forward as planned.
Yep.
And just because of the incoming weather, the town clerk office is closed because of
Correct,
elections.
because everybody's over there.
And what that does is that leaves, I'm off as regularly tomorrow, and so that would leave 4 people here. And so I guess I asked that you think about, and I would like you to allow tomorrow to be a closed due to inclement weather. And the reason I say that is because you can have them all come here and travel here. You can run out of power, then you have no bathrooms, no computers, no nothing.
Right.
And as I said in here, it's really 3 girls are hourly, the rest are salary. And I would like to ask you to do that because in that whole time of the week after I was going on vacation, the girls stepped up and took care of everything without calling me. Not that no one would do that, but I would like you to determine tomorrow is a snow day. And I can let them all know tonight if you decide to. If not, tell them they gotta be here in the morning. So, I don't know how you feel.
Well, with the current forecast, I mean, I think there is a a hazard situation, if it's not necessary for everyone to be here, if the workload isn't there, and you're comfortable, I have to take your advice.
I'm sure the foot traffic's gonna be limited tomorrow,
Yeah,
Well, because there's no school,
right?
Yeah.
they all, mostly, I just will share with you, most all the time that elections, they all think we are closed. Foot traffic will be really minimum if it's going to be
At all.
that weather.
well, I don't want any, I mean, it's, tomorrow, the weather event is all day long, so if we drag someone into work and have them sit here for 8 hours, they're gonna be leaving in the height of the storm. So, I personally don't have
I
a,
just wanted you to know that, I mean, if
Yeah.
we determine it, we pay. But I don't feel like they do, we're a good group.
Mhm.
We all band together. We do what it takes to help each other. I mean, Monique ran off to the bank, ran off to the post office today to get the absentee ballots over there, cause these guys were swamped. It's just one of those, I think that we're a good group.
Yeah.
And I just don't wanna see something happen and ask them to come here and something happen.
yeah.
I mean, there's
personally
times
I
that I've
personally
called to
defer
Ricky
to
and said,
her-
hey, I'm
to-
sending them home, there's no bathroom, there's no power.
Right, and they are talking power outages, I've already gotten a few text messages from
I did that
Eversource,
from
so,
Eversource too.
right, so.
I mean, that's,
I-
I'm just asking, I would let them know tonight so they're not getting their cars and driving here and then.
Down here,
for me to
find out the
find-
door's locked, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with it,
I'll make a motion that we call it a snow day for tomorrow.
there it is. Is there a
A
second?
second.
Moving second, all in favor?
yes.
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Okay. And so, Sherry, I'm
Do that.
gonna relieve you midday tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be all right till about 1:30 or 2 in there, so,
As soon as I get enough straightened out at
yeah,
home.
open up the driveways and
Driveway straightened out.
Yeah,
plow the
So
driveway.
you move to adjourn?
I have more than.
Not yet, we're still talking about,
Yeah,
talking
okay,
about
just as
the-
long as
the
we're
stuff.
on the same page.
Yeah,
All right, and I'm gonna be there probably a little earlier than anticipated, so
Well, I'm
Okay.
sure.
I should be around, so.
And the three of us that are gonna be there to sign off are,
And John Van will be there in the afternoon as well.
Right, he's coming too.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
coming there too to sign.
Yeah.
So, so I'll be there to sign, Kevin will be there to sign. You will not be there to sign.
probably not.
Okay.
I mean,
John-
it depends
John
on how
Van-
I'm feeling at the end of the day,
Okay.
but
John Van will be, so we'll have her at
if you've
3.
got 3 people, there's no sense
We
in
should
me
be
coming
good.
back, running
If-
back up there.
If for something
You
goes
can call
wrong, I'll
the
give you a
house
call.
and
I'll give you a
see,
call,
yeah.
yeah, okay. All right, John, I think I heard something from you.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All
All in
those-
fa-
yes.
Yes,
All right, hang on.
Thank you.
yeah.
Hope to see you all
Get out
tomorrow.
the vote.
Yeah, hope to see everybody tomorrow.